bulk sales, but we've had that conversation repeatedly. I think you've taken some steps in the direction I think is right. Obviously, you know I would like you to do more and quicker, but a discussion for another day. I'd like to talk about a little bit about capital reserve. As I understand it, in the last 5 to 6 years, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have pretty much both made a profit, for the lack of a better word. Their revenues exceed their expenses. Is that right?
If you define profit that way, yes.
Well, I'm using the term loosely, mostly so average people, including my colleagues here, can understand. I'll speak slower for some of them. And so if they have what normal people call a profit, that means their cash flow has been positive over the years. That means your capital reserve must be incredibly good. You must have a lot of money there, so God forbid there's another bump in the economy, you'll be able to cover it without a taxpayer bailout. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, not without drawing on taxpayer funding. We have taxpayer backing, but we have no capital buffer.
No capital reserve. What's happened with all the money?
We have $600 million until the end of the year, but then it goes to zero.
And so what's happened with all the money you made?
It's gone to the Treasury.
To the Treasury, to the general fund?
Under the PSPA.
Who pays all the revenue that you get? Am I wrong to think that the vast majority of your money comes out of fees that are charged to middle-income homeowners on top of their mortgage? Is that where most of the money comes from? Almost all of it.
Yes, disproportionately more and more of it now is coming from that as opposed to
so basically, middle-income homeowners are paying extra on their mortgage so that the United States government's books look better than they should. So, and by the way, those people are still paying income taxes and corporate taxes and all the other taxes that everybody else pays. So they're paying extra for the ability to own a home. Do they know this? Have they been told this?
Well,
it's part of the
I don't get into that part of it. What I've been very transparent and open about is that it's really irresponsible to try to run any business without some kind of capital cushion.
So would you, if you have your druthers, would you like to increase that reserve?
Yes, and we're working with the Secretary of Treasury to try to resolve that issue.
It's my understanding that he doesn't think you should.
Well, I wouldn't say that. We're working with him now to try to resolve the issue.
As I understand it, you need the permission and the agreement of the administration in order to do that. But you
no, I don't. I don't absolutely need it. I could do it by myself, but I don't think that would be the best way to do it.
But there is some. I would agree with your interpretation, but some people might disagree with that. And I know there'll be a family fight about who has the authority to do what. But it's unequivocal that you have the authority to lower fees on your own. No one has to approve those.
Well, I wouldn't lower fees to solve this problem.
No, it doesn't solve the problem. But if the money is coming, if I'm paying a mortgage, and I know you're taking money and not building up a reserve and not using it to help me, and I'm just adding, it's like an extra tax on me. Why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you, if you can't build up a reserve and therefore help provide housing to America, well, why don't you just cut the fees? And that'll kind of solve all the problems. They're not going to let you keep it or give it back to your investors or reduce mortgages. Just cut the fees. That way you're effectively reducing mortgages.
I don't think I could statutorily, consistent with the statutes, cut the fees to take that into account because I have an independent statutory responsibility to setting guarantee fees.
I think you could, but we'll talk about that later. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Time of the